Hi, I'm Irving, and I'm an Adamaniac. The last time we saw Batman, Marsha, the Queen of Diamonds, had him in the most perilous predicament of all. He's about to get married. She has Robin enslaved with some kind of love potion that her Aunt Hilda cooked up in the basement. Even as I say that, I can't believe I'm saying it. If Batman doesn't marry her so she can go to the Batcave and get the Bat Diamond for herself, Robin will be like this for life. So Batman reluctantly agreed. Now he's supposed to say I do, and he's having a hard time spitting out the words.
Stop the wedding!
This is no time for pranks, my good man. We are in the midst of a sacred ceremony.
I assure you, sir, this is no prank.
Alfred to the rescue again, and with Aunt Harriet helping him. Well, they were discussing what they were going to do in the last episode. I guess they came up with a plan.
Ethelbert Soames, solicitor at law with the firm of Soames, Silwell and Thistlethwaite, Liverpool, England. My card. My card. My card.
It fascinates me how Alan Napier can rattle off a name like Ethelbert Soames with no effort at all and with a straight face.
What's this to do with the wedding?
Allow me to present my client, formally Miss Henrietta Tillotson of Morton-in-the-Marsh, Gloucestershire.
What do you mean, formally?
I mean that for the last 7 years, she has been Mrs. Batman.
That explains the veil. They don't want people to think Batman goes for the older crowd. Ethelbert, produces a marriage certificate and hands it to the minister.
Why didn't you tell me about this, Batman?
It slipped my mind.
Slipped your mind, indeed. I am not in the practice of marrying bigamists.
Why, you two-timing bat-fink?
Yes, he was totally doing this because he wanted to.
How dare you leave a poor, defenseless girl waiting at the altar?
Not poor, I hope, madam. We are instituting a lawsuit for $1 million for the alienation of the husband's affections.
Boom! Alfred, you are a genius. With that news, she can't get out of there fast enough.
Mrs. Cooper.
Why, I wasn't sure you'd remember me, Batman.
He's met you a half dozen times and remembered you each time. Why is she always so surprised when he does?
Of course I remember you. I've always treasured our brief meetings, and I certainly want to thank you for the help you gave me here today.
Oh, I'm glad. I was afraid you'd be angry with us for stretching the truth the way we did.
Not under the circumstances, believe me.
If we can be of any further service, sir.
As a matter of fact, Mr.
Alfred will do, sir.
He doesn't have a last name. Either that or he's afraid that if he tells Bruce his last name is Pennyworth, that's what Bruce will start paying him.
As a matter of fact, Alfred, yes. Since Robin is currently out of commission, I'd appreciate it if you would accompany me in the Batmobile.
Certainly, sir. I've always wanted to ride in that ingenious vehicle.
Good.
Why does he need somebody to ride with him? And where's he going? Happily, Aunt Harriet is way too starstruck to think about such things.
Again, my thanks, Mrs. Cooper. You were truly superb.
You stood there and did nothing magnificently.
Oh, Bruce will never believe it when I tell him.
You can't help but love her to pieces. It's been fun seeing her take a bigger role in some of these stories. We get to see her as a real person and not just as a sounding board for plot exposition and such. And I really like the way Madge Blake played her. She's the perfect doting aunt who wants to make sure Dick gets his warm milk before bed and has no idea he's out there almost every day getting beat up by criminals. But when the chips are down and it's time to do something drastic, she has just about the biggest stones of the whole family. If you want to read up on a fascinating person, check out Madge Blake's biography. If you start at IMDb, I can just about guarantee you'll want to know more before you even finish reading.
We'll have to get to Robin as soon as possible.
Look, there's the happy couple now. Marsha left him, so he married Alfred. This doesn't seem all that funny to us now, but trust me, in 1966, it had us rolling on the floor laughing.
We'll have to drive it as it is.
Anticipating an emergency, sir, I brought along a kit of bat antidotes.
In the first season, he carried them in his utility belt. What happened?
Good thinking, Alfred.
Incidentally, I forged the marriage certificate on the back printer. A remarkable invention of yours, if I may say so.
Yes, it did the job this time.
This time, it sounds like he doesn't trust it. Again, using a printer that makes authentic-looking documents is no big deal today, but at that time, most people didn't even know what a printer was and had never seen one. Several years later, in 1973, I took some computer courses at my local university. The line printer, as it was called, was as big as this chair and took up the whole middle of the room. To use it, you had to write a program in the language we were using at the time, translate that onto punch cards, feed the stack of cards into a reader, then after about 20 seconds the computer would calculate your answer and send it out to the line printer. This thing had rotating wheels with the characters on them and would set up a whole line of text at a time, then print it. Hence it was called a line printer. And when it printed a line, you found yourself wishing you had earplugs. This thing sounded like gunshots going off right next to you. And what would it print? All the programming mistakes you made on your punch cards that you had to go do over again. Thus, the bat printer was genuinely a miraculous invention. Laser printers as we know them wouldn't even be invented for almost another 10 years. When you watch things like this, keep in mind how insanely far our tech has come just in my lifetime. Then go ahead and laugh at the backwards 60s dummies.
The sleep potion I gave before the wedding is still in effect, Your Highness.
Good. Pump another potion into Boy Wonder there, and he'll worship me forever. Then I'll make him lead me to the Bat Cave, and the Bat Diamond will be mine. Hurry, hurry, before that Bat bigamous partner of his shows up.
Hell hath no fury. The mogul is a little too slow.
Yes, Your Highness.
Where are my guardians?
They were held up in traffic, Your Highness.
Forget the Boy Wonder. Out this door.
Yeah, it's a pretty good bet that the mogul can't take on Batman by himself.
Never mind about them, Alfred. Our first concern is Robin. Quickly, the bat antidotes.
We'll get to them in a week or two, no worries. Marsha goes down to Aunt Hilda, who is taking a bubble bath in her cauldron.
What is it, dearie? The potion? Oh, yes. Well, I knew it wouldn't work. Those newts I've been getting lately are very poor quality.
Low quality newts will get you every time, believe me, I know. Marsha demands a better potion.
Oh, all right, darling, all right. Fetch me my recipe book. It's over there.
Is this the one?
Is there a buzzard's tongue lying next to it?
Yes.
Ooh, then that's the one, dearie.
I think I'm in love.
Put them in my power.
Here's a nice little potion that turns them into tigers.
Too large, darling.
Mosquitoes.
Too small, darling.
I'm definitely in love. I just can't decide with which one.
Here's an old potion I haven't used in years. It turns them into nice, fuzzy little rabbits.
That's the one.
Unless, of course, they have type O blood, in which case it turns them into giant boa constrictors.
Find another potion, darling.
Got a cigarette? Robin wakes up in the Batcave and Batman explains what happened to him.
You were shot by the same type of dart, and it didn't affect you the same way.
Oh, it did, Robin, it did. I just called on all my resources to combat it.
I called in all mine, too. But all of a sudden, there I was on my knees, worshiping her.
Well, that's because you're a wuss. You have the resources of a blade of grass.
Oh, it's merely the difference of a few years, old chum. An older head can't be put on younger shoulders.
Hey, in 2017, we're getting close.
Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara have older heads, and look what happened to them.
Well, yes, but they're idiots. Why do you think we have to save their butts all the time? While they've been talking, Batman has come up with a way to locate Marsha.
We know she's surrounded by diamonds, and perhaps if we set the bat radar at the emanating frequency of diamonds, we could calculate the reflection pattern of the diamonds.
And make them show up on the bat radar screen and then figure out the coordinates.
Right.
When I Googled the emanating frequency of a diamond, I got all kinds of new age type how to heal your body with diamonds pages and nothing scientific. I love it. The bat gobbledygook detector locates her.
Holy stalactites, Batman. The elevation is -80.
Just as they put it together, the bat phone rings.
Yes. Oh, it's good to hear your voice, Commissioner.
And yours, Batman. If it hadn't been for you, the Chief and I would be singing love songs to that fiendish woman right now.
And if it hadn't been for that resourceful citizen who saved me at the altar, I'd be on my honeymoon right now.
Whereupon the two of them would start trying to kill him because he stole their woman.
I'd like to send that wretched creature on a honeymoon to the state prison, and I think I know where she is.
It wouldn't be that basement of the building we were in, would it?
Why, yes. She made a remark about visiting her aunt there, but how could you possibly know?
Occasionally, we men come up with a few tricks too, Commissioner. Robin and I are on our way there.
Well, be careful, Batman. She may be waiting for you.
Don't worry, Commissioner. We'll be ready for her.
Batman and Robin hop in the Batmobile and head for Marsha's lair.
There is no mystery that man can't solve.
Except the mystery of how you two got your jobs.
Be careful, Batman. There are some mysteries no man can solve.
What was the point of that? We had some over-narrating going on in the first part, too. I have to wonder why. At headquarters, Commissioner Gordon is thanking Alfred for rescuing Batman. Alfred is trying to deflect credit and says it was actually Mrs. Cooper's idea.
In fact, it was her idea, giving credit where credit is due.
Now I know where I've heard your voice before.
Oh, crap. I've been wondering when this was going to happen.
Aren't you Alfred, the Wayne butler?
Yes, sir, I am.
False alarm, they're as clueless as ever. Both of them suddenly realize they haven't called their wives to explain where they've been. The real story is too far-fetched to believe, so what are they going to do?
If I may interject a thought.
Please do.
My experience of women has been that they tend to believe what they want to believe. So, and knowing you both to be conscientious gentlemen and faithful husbands, I'm sure that if you just tell both your wives that you were involved in some special and confidential assignment, that will suffice.
Sounds reasonable. I'm sure it's probably happened before, so it's not like it's something that came out of the blue.
Have you ever been married?
No.
Alfred, at the risk of sounding pompous, experience with women and experience with wives are two vastly different things.
Amen.
You're right. You sound pompous. And you're wrong, at least in this case. Alfred takes his leave, and I assume Gordon and O'Hara immediately pick up the phone and do exactly what Alfred said.
If you care to use my private phone to call home, Chief O'Hara.
After you, Commissioner
Oh,
Gordon.
no, please, after you.
No, sir. It's your office and your phone. You go right ahead.
Or they both chicken out and just end up buying a month's salary worth of flowers. Batman and Robin make their way to the basement and confront Marsha and Aunt Hilda. Hilda throws a potion on them that's supposed to turn them into mice. It doesn't.
You bumbling old hag, you failed again.
That's no way to talk to an old lady.
You mind your own business, Boy Wonder.
She's my old lady. I'll talk to her any way I want to.
You're going to be in enough trouble as it is.
Yes, Your Highness?
He's been scrunched up in that thing this whole time? How long did she make him stay there? Ouch.
Dispatch them.
Yes, Your Highness.
They were all crouched in that thing. I hope they were playing poker or something. It's time for the fight.
I'm sure this one will work. It's guaranteed to turn them into lizards.
You said the last one would have them running around on the floor, squeaking.
This time, I'll add a little more, just to make sure.
Just to be sure.
Missed again.
Or not sure.
Another zero.
Playtime is over, darling. Let the grown-ups take charge.
She could have done that half an hour ago. I guess she was just humoring Aunt Hilda.
Diamond dosing gas, Batman!
Try not to breathe.
Diamond dosing gas. For helping diamonds that have trouble sleeping. They collapse and Aunt Hilda throws another potion on them.
Batman and Robin can handle any male criminal in Gotham City, but when it comes to women...
When it comes to women, he's just weird.
When it comes to women, Batman's the big loser, darling. A very big loser.
What kind of trickery is this?
Batman and Robin have been turned into toads. One of Aunt Hilda's potions finally worked. Batman himself confirms it.
I'm afraid it's true, Commissioner. We're right here. She's got us.
It's funny how the potion also shrunk their costumes to fit their new size and shape. That's a very thoughtful potion. Batman tells the Commissioner to use the bat phone to locate the Batcave, because if he doesn't, Marsha will feed the two of them to her cat. How this is supposed to work, I'm not sure, because Batman and Robin are both right there, and the only other person who would answer the phone is the mystery butler. I'm a little fuzzy on what the plan is here, but Batman says do it. Gordon says, all right.
Oh, Commissioner.
Yes, Batman?
Never mind the phone.
Who said that?
Not me, Your Highness.
The real Batman said it. Look over here.
The Grand Mogul is a ventriloquist, of course, but so is Batman. And how did they get out of the cage she had them in?
Thanks to the extraordinary transmitting powers of the Bat Diamond, which you've been after, we were able to carry on some long-distance computations in the Batcave.
After we wired the bars of the cell to convert them to a radio aerial.
You see, the tumbler lock on the cell door only had 3,724,521 possible combinations. Child's play for the Bat computer.
Keep in mind that computer I described earlier. Having a computer of any kind was so esoteric none of us could imagine the idea. This really was science fiction to us. Now, my smartphone has several thousand times the computing power of the computer that sent the first men to the moon 3 years later.
Take care of them. Take care of them, I said.
Pinned like a wriggling toe.
So,
I could easily believe he did that on purpose. They're in the police commissioner's office. There are cops everywhere. Chief O'Hara has a gun. Granted, he has no idea what to do with it, but he has one. Trying to start a brawl here is just goofy. I think running past him and falling into the window was his subtle way of saying, screw this, please just arrest me.
Well, I suppose this is the end of my little romp, eh, darling?
A 1 to 10 year end, at least.
I just hope it's taught you that diamonds aren't necessarily a girl's best friend, Marsha.
Oh, Batman, darling. You are so divinely square.
That may be the most beautiful line I have heard all year. I love this character. Her angle is so completely different from anything we've seen, it's like fresh air. Of course, Carolyn Jones was the perfect choice to play her, and I can't get enough of the little homages to the Addams family. She went on to several more TV roles, but sadly, cancer took her from us in 1983. She was only 53 years old. I apologize if I offend someone with my expression. I bleeped it for your sake. But I cannot say that word any other way. It has taken so many friends and loved ones, so many wonderful people who should have lived a lot longer. I'm sorry, but there's no other way in my vocabulary. Cancer. On that happy note, the Queen of Diamonds will be back, and more than once. At least we can enjoy that. But it's down the road a ways. What's coming up?
Next week, Cliff Robertson as Shame corrals the Caped Crusaders.
Say what? I guess there's only one way to find out. I'm Irving, and I'm an Adamaniac.
This